Radio Maria 91.3 FM.
The voice of truth.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Our Heritage. Our Heritage is a program cut across Nigerian culture, cultural festival, music, food, location, etc. Culture is a way of life, including acts, belief, and institutions of populations that are passed down from generation to generation. Once again, you're welcome to 91.3 FM Radio Maria, the voice of truth. My name is Stella Francis. Today we'll be traveling across the Mediterranean Sea now. That'll be the Savannah Ocean. I have two guests in the house and I'll allow them to introduce themselves, starting from Joyce.
Okay. Good afternoon, dear listeners. I am Stella Joyce from Cameroon, more precisely from the southwest region, Oya, and I'm a Bakosi.
Thank you very much. My name is Dan Mugera from Nairobi, Kenya. I'm glad to be here in Abuja at a time like this.
Yeah, we're glad to have you also at Radio Maria 91.3 FM. Welcome, Joyce.
Thank you very much.
I hope you're feeling at home in Nigeria.
Yes, so much at home.
Okay, Dan, you're from the East Africa. So how is the West African treating you?
Treating me nicely already. I've already adopted to everything that is going on around here. I'm an Igbo also here. When I'm in Nigeria, I become an Igbo man. Yes.
So you like the food?
Yeah, I like the food.
Okay.
A little bit spiced, more than the Kenyan food, but I do like it.
Okay, so now that you already know a bit about Nigeria and West Africa, tell us a bit about, let's get to know the Kenyan also culture.
Right, Kenya is a country that is on the eastern side of Africa, bordering Tanzania on the south, Somalia on the east, Ethiopia on the north, and Uganda on the west side of Kenya. Of course, also South Sudan on the northwest. And population of around 50 million people. Very multiracial, I should say, even though we have the indigenous people in different parts of Kenya. I usually say to people that I come from the south, I come from the coast. Here you call it south-south. There we call it south coast. That's where I come from. And the culture in Kenya is very diverse, but the common language that unites us is the Swahili language. Of course, the Swahili people need to know that is a mixture of Arabic and the local languages, especially languages that are the coast, our languages, because that's where the Arabs settled when they came in many years back, even before the white man came to Kenya. So that will be the culture as far as the language is concerned. The diversity of our culture based on the different ethnic groups, because we have around majorly 42 ethnic groups. Recently we added a few others, like 3, and these are because of these ethnic groups are people who came from other countries and they came and settled in our country.
Okay, thank you so much for keeping us up to speed with what the culture around Kenya. And then Joyce, please, can you do us the honors of letting us know a bit about Cameroon?
Well, as we all know, Cameroon is Africa in nature. That is, we have a little bit of everything that is around the African continent.
Yes. Okay.
So, we're colonized by 2 different countries, that is France and Great Britain. So that's a little bit in our favor because we are privileged to speak both languages, that's English and French. And we are bordered in the northeast, where we share boundaries with you guys. We share a little bit more of a culture, food. That's why I feel a little bit at home when I'm in Nigeria, because it's not very strict. Yeah.
So you don't have problem with the spice, just like that?
No, not at all. We eat very spicy. And you should know, the hottest pepper comes from Cameroon.
Yo, I agree. I agree. I'm not even contesting that with you. Okay, so you're welcome, and let's Mr. Dan. I think you had your general election last year.
This year.
This year, actually.
Yes.
So you have a new government.
Yes.
But one thing that struck me about your government is that, like, almost as soon as the president emerged the seat or assumed the office, he removed the subsidy. And this is one thing that Nigeria is really struggling, is an ongoing conversation, whether the subsidy should be removed or the subsidy should be. So from experience, can you share a bit from your own experience, since you already have the fuel subsidy removed in Kenya?
The debate about the subsidy began around March this year, when we began to have a fuel shortage in our country, and people began to see that it was an artificial shortage because the fuel companies were hoarding fuel because they had not received subsidy from the government. But since it was an election year, the government came in and gave subsidy to the fuel companies, and things returned to normal. But then the fuel was still very, very expensive, because it jumped from almost $1 to $1.25, and immediately the new government came in, scrapped subsidy completely, and now fuel is around $1.50. And so it's high, but people understand the background of it. The new government said they inherited a government that has no money. So they have to do everything to return things to normal before they could reconsider taking fuel prices down. They also claimed that subsidy is not sustainable as far as our economy is concerned. And so that one was one of the reasons. Even though we do understand those who are full of economical issues, that IMF has really been on African governments to really withdraw subsidy so that they can be able to pay back the loans faster. So that's the situation currently. Is it pinching people? Yes, it is. But somehow, somewhere, people who drive vehicles, since they are not the majority, even people who are using public transport do get the impact, because now public transport has to increase transport fare for people who are using public transport. So that's the situation currently now, and we do hope that maybe it will transform in the near future once the new government stabilizes the economic issues and deal with the inflation matters.
Yeah, I can imagine. What about the market? Is it affecting the market so much? What's the impact in the say, commodities in the market? Is it very expensive?
Yes, yes. Some of the commodities have gone high. Some of the commodities have gone high. Like I said, the public transport fare have also gone high, because now they have to cushion themselves, people who operate in the public transport. And then, of course, the manufacturers also, this impacted them greatly and also increased the cost of some of the commodities in the market. Of course, at the same time also, some of the groceries which come from out of Nairobi, or very far from Nairobi, also the price had to go up, because the people who bring those groceries into the city, they have vehicles, and the cost of fuel now has gone up. So everybody is telling you the reason why they have increased this amount and this amount is because of the fuel issue.
Okay, so I will still ask you this question: between the people who are clamoring for the return of the fuel subsidy and the people who are like, okay, let's just allow it and we'll get used to it, whose voice is higher? Is it those who that like bring the subsidy back, or?
I think, since I'm in the capital city, the operation there is a bit different. I have not followed up the politics now after the election, the politics of fuel subsidy so much, because I think Kenyans, the problem was people don't get the fuel. Now that people have the fuel, even though they're paying expensive, but it's available, people regulate themselves. So if I have a private vehicle, for example, I can reduce the time that I go with it to work and just keep it at home, and maybe go to work with public transport and only use the vehicle during the week. So people have come to a place of finding ways on how to live with it for now, because there is some level of knowledge that this is a global phenomenon. It's not about our country only, it's a global phenomenon. Yes, so during politics, yes, it was being used for political convenience. But now, people are beginning to understand that it's a global phenomenon and that we need to find ways to live with it until we can overcome it.
Okay, thank you very much. I like to find out how long the subsidy has been there, but we need to keep up to speed with what is going on with our neighbors in Cameroon. So, Joyce, please can you tell us a bit of the economic aspect of Cameroon? I know you brought you gifted me with a chocolate and you said it's made in Cameroon, and that got me curious. Like, okay, so that's one aspect of the economy. So I want to know from when did you start producing chocolates, and how much has it impacted on the economy, and for also the raw materials, you locally source or you import some of the materials?
Well, the production of chocolate in Cameroon started way back in 1967.
Interesting.
Yes, it was owned back then by a Cameroonian, but right now has been bought. The entire company has been bought by a South African company that is the Tiger Brands. Yes, and the materials are locally sourced because we produce cocoa in Cameroon, especially in the southwest regions of Cameroon. Yes, cocoa is a major agricultural production back there in the southwest. This company has employed a lot of youths. Until date, is still employing a lot of youths. It employs about 300 youths in my country, and they have a sales of about 18 billion francs CFA per year. So it's really doing well, and it's helping to boost the economy.
Oh, interesting. Okay, thank you for that. I have more questions for you, but I think that maybe our listeners out there too may want to make contributions. So I'll open the phone lines and then we'll continue with the conversation. The number to call is 081 084 475 18. 081 084 475 18. Please call us and let us know what you think about the subject matter. What do you think about the fuel subsidy removal in Kenya? And for us in Nigeria, do you think it should be removed or we should just sustain it? Because when you look at the figures, it's really heartbreaking. Like, if you don't even have a proper calculator, you'll be confused. You'll not even know what the figures that you're punching on, looking at the fuel subsidy in Nigeria and the amount that the federal government is paying. So call us and let us know what you think about the subject matter. So yeah, I'm coming back to you, Daniel. For how long have the first subsidy been existing in Kenya? Is it for a very long time?
I think since that time I came, I think as far as I can remember, the first subsidy has been there in our country. Its main work was to cushion the citizens from high cost of fuel, and so the fuel subsidy will be paid to fuel companies so that they can be able to discount the price of fuel that they sell to the citizens of the country. So as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I can remember, fuel subsidy has always been there until now recently, when the debate began and there was artificial shortages, and before long then it was removed.
Okay, thank you very much. I think Nigeria also has been enjoying the subsidy for a very long time, but it's high time. It's an ongoing conversation, so I want to know what my listeners also think about the subsidy. Call us and let us know. The number to call once again is 081 084 475 18. 081 084 475 18. So the figures you mentioned is really overwhelming, and then the job opportunities that it creates is also very, very good afternoon. Yeah, please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Christopher.
Okay.
Calling
Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead, please.
I don't want to say much. Just want to say very soon. You know, in Nigeria is a very big country. That company Nigeria can run another country in Africa.
Okay.
And we produce the iron. I think our food was more way bigger than other countries. So what I would have purchased is our contributors that we are not comfortable with the because of the especially when we have Nigeria. And the church company are very so on that it now they should be so when we look at them it was ordinary medical and they take black on it that they should really special or infinity.
Okay.
So we produce this thing and we said that we should bring it down. It is our own right because the government isn't to the time prepare our refinery and even open for further refinery all the things that we produce here, refined here.
Okay.
And so they are able to support other countries. They're not taking it out, refining in another country, then bring it back to Nigeria. It doesn't make sense.
Okay. So what are you saying? We should.
What I'm saying is, if we are clamoring that the subsidy should be removed, it is our right. We shouldn't comparing us with other countries. Let them face their own.
Thank you.
Their own, then we should be taking our own. We need to let them bring it back down, maybe under that belief that it is our right because they are the one producing it. We have excess here in our country.
Yeah, but now you are contradicting what you say. Should it be removed or should they even increase the subsidy? I think you are contradicting what you say earlier on. So now I want to understand, should the fuel subsidy be removed or they should even increase so that we can get the fuel at maybe 16 naira or 15 naira? Okay. Okay, so thank you. Okay, so what you are saying is that the subsidy should continue. And by the way, I am not comparing Nigerian to Kenya. I'm only saying that they have fuel subsidy and it is removed. We're just comparing to see the impact on the masses and what is the general opinion in Kenya. So that's what we're doing. Thank you very much for your contribution and please stay with us to the end of the program.
Stella, maybe I would like to know how much is a liter of fuel right now in Nigeria?
250. Yeah, the price is not certain actually. Some
But
people
it's
are saying
around
250 and
250 naira.
250 naira.
Gosh, your fuel is way cheaper. Even when we had subsidy, we were not there. We are not there. Your fuel is way cheaper because, of course, the currency can. So if I translate that into dollars, we were buying at around $1. Even when with the passive. So you see, with 250, you are less than $1. And so, like you say to the gentleman, you are not really comparing. We're just looking at the whole issue of subsidy. Right now that we do not have subsidy, we are doing $1.5 approximately. That I think if it's brought here, you're talking about fuel going to around over 1,000 naira per liter.
That's a lot, but
so that's the difference.
Yeah, you can even get at 185.
And by the way, we do produce oil, but it's still in small, yes, not in large quantity. The oil was discovered in Kenya. We do produce it in crude export. We are in the process of rebuilding our refinery. The same African problem of refinery being run down, and then now you take crude out and then buy it more expensive.
Okay, call us and let us know what you think about the subject matter. Fuel subsidy removal, or we should even reduce it like the last caller said, so we can get fuel at 100 naira. The number to call is 081 084 475 18. 081 084 475 18. Call us and let us know what you think about the subject matter. I'm curious. I'm not sure what I should be asking, but how is the fuel situation in Cameroon?
Well, sometime in March, we had a fuel scarcity and the prices really went high. A liter was for about 800 francs CFA. I don't know how much that is in dollars. And but it has changed because the guys went to the streets and had to protest. It was too high.
Okay.
Yes, they protested, and right now, if I'm not mistaken, it should be about 650
Okay.
francs CFA. Yes.
All right, that's interesting. So we will we'll try to take a breather now, and when we come back, the conversation will continue. Please call us and let us know by the time we come back from the breather. Thank you. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us on 91.3 FM Radio Maria, the voice of truth. My name is Stella Francis. We are talking about fuel subsidy. I have Dan and Joyce as my guest speaker, and they've been keeping us up to speed on what is happening in Cameroon and Kenya respectively. And then so far Dan has told us that the impact of fuel subsidy removal in Kenya, and we have opened the phone lines for you to call us and let us know what you think about the fuel subsidy removal in Nigeria, or the impact of fuel subsidy in Nigeria, given that the price is not even regulated at this point, and we even have fuel scarcity. So what do you think? Should the fuel subsidy be removed so that we can have a lot of it, and then see how there will be competition in the market, and maybe, who knows, the price will become competitive, and it could better the economy in the future. Call us and let us know. The number to call is 081 084 475 18. 081 084 475 18. You were telling us about the fuel. Obviously, you don't produce fuel in Cameroon. Do you have?
Well, we have refineries. Yes, we do.
Do you have crude?
Yes, we do. We have in Bakassi.
Okay.
I'm sure you know about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we have in Bakassi. We have SCDP that is in charge of refinery, that is refining oil. Yeah. Or should I say fuel?
Okay, so what's the process? Do you refine in large quantity that's enough for everyone in Cameroon?
No,
or?
not actually. We do not refine in large quantity for now, though we have plans of, refining in large quantity so that the cost might be reduced.
Okay, Dan, so what, in Africa generally, what can you tell us about this fuel refinery, crude and refining? Because, I also heard that Ghana is planning to buy refined oil with their gold, and they also have crude. So what can you say generally about the...
It is a problem of Africa that we need to settle. When I was growing up, there was in my town that I was born and brought up, that is Mombasa, the second largest city in Kenya, and the port city, there was an oil refinery. That's why I said when I was born and grew up in the city, I used to see the refinery, then it was run down. And then before long now we were importing refined fuel or oil. And so this is the problem across Africa. I think Africa needs to mature up, create its own refineries, refine those countries that have oil, refine the oil, and maybe even when it comes to the issue of selling the oil, first give priority to African countries. I think we have matured up, we can consume our own fuel right here, and if Nigeria, which I think is the fifth biggest producer of oil in the world, does that, and then there's Angola also, then a few other African countries that also produce, including Libya. Everything is stabilized, and they give priority to African countries and refine the oil right here in Africa. We will go very far.
Okay, thank you very much for that contribution. Good afternoon. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Can you? Yeah, good afternoon. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. Okay. Okay, go ahead, please, Godfrey.
fuel subsidy thing, for me, I think we have actually been down for a very long time.
Okay.
And I'm thinking if the government will remove the subsidy and then let us have the fuel at every time we want to buy.
Okay.
We can maybe try to adjust our life to it than having the fuel subsidy and we are not even seeing the fuel. I think we are suffering more now with the fuel subsidy than with that is the concept. The guarantee we should have is that okay, there's no fuel subsidy, but the fuel will be available at whatever cost.
And the fund. Okay.
Sorry?
No, I say, and the funds for the fuel subsidy can be channeled to different.
Something else.
Correct.
Make the country cheap for you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
And that was the argument.
Thank you so much, Godfrey, and please stay with us to the end of the program. Yeah, Mr. Dan, can we hear you?
And that was the argument even in our country. Okay, if you don't want to give the subsidy, okay, keep the subsidy, make the roads better. Okay, use the money that you used to give subsidy and make our roads better. We will pay for the fuel. Make it available. Don't give us an artificial shortage in the country of fuel between the war of government and the fuel companies or the oil companies. And so I think that what he's making is a legitimate argument that, okay, give us the fuel at whatever cost, we will buy the fuel, but we want to see that money that was going for subsidy in action and improving our economy.
And do you think it would be a bad idea when you channel it to the refinery, maybe making the refineries work?
It's not a bad idea because then I'm impressed at the cost of fuel currently in Nigeria. So you can imagine if you refine your own oil right here, then fuel will be so cheap. It will be so cheap.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it will take some time. Maybe if we remove the subsidy, maybe we will feel the heat for some time. But by the time you channel the subsidy towards building refineries or even refurbishing our refineries to existing ones, then you will have it in abundance and everybody will be happy. Means of transportation will also be good, and then we will do XYZ will happen and everybody will be happy. Joyce, do you agree with me?
About
removing it and channeling the funds to...
Of course I do. That is if they channel it, because we all know our government.
Call us and let us know what you think about the subject matter. The number to call is 081 084 475 18. 081 084 475 18. Call us and let us know if you are on the opinion that the subsidy funds should be channeled into refurbishing our refineries. Yeah, we go a little bit away from the refineries, but call us and let us know what you think. We also talk about the chocolates in Cameroon. Call us and let us know. I think we also have cocoa. I want to see our own indigenous chocolate too, maybe Nigerian chocolates, and see the number of people that the job employment that the chocolate company has created in Cameroon. Let's see how it creates here in Nigeria also. So let's talk a bit about sports. I know that especially in the field track sports, Mr. Jan, I know that here in Nigeria, when you talk about Kenyans and racing, that's the first thing that might probably come to your mind. And there's a little joke here and there that people say, if you're looking for a husband or a spouse that would run 1,000 miles for you, then he's not here. Your husband is not here in Nigeria. Your husband is in Kenya. So tell us about this field track sports in Kenya.
Kenya is known, thank you very much for that, Stella. Kenya is very much known for medium and long distance runners, including the marathon. Most of the time, people around the world assume that all Kenyans can run, or they are runners. That's not the case. There is only particular ethnic groups that live within the Rift Valley, the hilly side of the Rift Valley, that happen to be very good runners, and that's the Kalenjin. Of course, we have a few of the Maasai indigenous people, and a few of the other ethnic groups that maybe people were born within that particular geographical area. I come from the coast. As far as I can remember, I can't remember any coastal person that has represented Kenya in athletics and winning. So there is a misconception. Yes, they are Kenyans, but then they come from particular ethnic. Just like here in Nigeria, when we see the movies, we assume all these people are Nigerian, but maybe they are only people from a particular ethnic group who do a lot of this acting and producing a lot of these movies. That's the same concept as far as Kenya is concerned. But yes, Kenya is known for this, and we've been doing very well in the medium and long distance races around the world, including the marathon. We have our own great of all time, our own girl, that is Eliud Kipchoge, who he was used as an experimental athlete, whether somebody can run for below 2 hours, 42 kilometers marathon. And he did it at 1 hour and I think 59 minutes. So yes, we are well known for that, but it's important for people to know that not all Kenyans.
Okay, but you also, our listeners also should see that you look like someone who can run like that. You look like one of those husbands that Nigerian that belongs to Nigerians.
I can assure you, when it comes to running, no, I do go to the gym, I do exercise, but when it comes to running, if you see them, they look very different from me. They are very slender, and then they're tall and slender, very, very slender. I don't know. I've met, I think, a few people here who are slender as the athletes in Kenya, because they go through rigorous training. Theirs is a discipline that they have given themselves, what they eat, what they do, what they drink. Yeah, so I'm a bit different from the athletes. Maybe I look more like the rugby players in Kenya, because Kenya is also known to be good in the rugby sport.
Yeah. But you're tall anyway. So we let's see, maybe we can get one last call, because time is also not on our side. The number to call is 081 084 475 18 081 084 475 18. We are looking for a last lucky caller. Call us and let us know so that we can wrap up the show with you. But while we are waiting for that person who is going to wrap up the show with a call, Joyce, can you please give us your final words?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation. It was a pleasure to be here with you at Radio Maria. I would like to tell the listeners and you guys too, the name of that chocolate is Mambo.
Yo!
Check it out, Mambo. And I think Mambo means something.
It's a greeting, actually.
Okay,
so it's a casual greeting in Kenya.
All right, and it's produced by Shukokam, that is Chocolate Company Cameroon. Okay. It's very affordable and it's African made. Yeah.
Thank you. I like African made, but talking about culture and what the chocolate translates in Kenya, I would say karibu to the two of you, and I'd like you to say a bit of maybe one word in maybe French or the indigenous.
Okay. All right. Ça a été un plaisir d'être avec vous ici aujourd'hui. Je suis Joyce Nzele du Cameroun. Je suis une anglophone, mais je me bats très bien en français. And Abanyang Asange, that's my mother tongue, which means good morning.
Okay, so is that French?
I spoke French first, then secondly I spoke my mother tongue.
Interesting. I like the Abayange because I think it's easy for me to say. So then we are wrapping up. Time is not on our side. Give us your final words, and apart from Karibu, you can say something else.
Thank you very much, Stella. Thank you also, like Jason said, for welcoming me to the show. I will encourage Nigerians to visit Kenya. Already we have a lot of Nigerians in Kenya. You can imagine one of my tailors in Nairobi is a Yoruba man. Okay, and we joke a lot when I go there, and I change my accent and speak like a Nigerian to him. We joke. I tell him I'm an Igbo, and he's a Yoruba. So I encourage people to visit Kenya. There is more than just athletes. The only problem of fuel subsidy, we got the big five. We have a lot of parks. Nairobi is the only capital city in the world with a national park. in it. And so you can come in and visit. We have the coastal areas. It's a beautiful country. And since Africa is one, we got to learn the culture of visiting each other. That is an African culture. So asante sana, nashukuru sana kwa kuwa hapa. That is Swahili for thank you very much. I'm grateful for being here.
Yeah, there's a lot to say, but we started very late and we cannot even finish what I have on my bucket list to check. But I will not end the show without asking you about I think the Kenyan people, the Kenyan zoo lost the oldest, is it elephant or the oldest?
Yes, the oldest, one of our oldest elephants.
Okay.
Yes.
So please accept my condolence if there's anything like sympathy. Thank you. If there's anything like that, but how about the animals? How is it creating any economic value to your economy?
Of course, it creates a lot of economic value to it. It also helps people who are interested in the study of animals to keep on doing research in relation to these animals. Of course, most people who come, tourists who come from Europe, from America, they want to visit the parks and they want to find this animal in their natural habitation. And that has been a wonderful. So you go on a safari when you come over there. You go on a safari to some of these national parks and just be there the whole day or even for a week and be able to see different animals and including the big five.
Okay, thank you so much. The big five. I want to know more about the big five, but time is not on my side. On this note, I say thank you for listening. For our callers, you were wonderful. Your contributions were very meaningful to us. And please stay with us on 91.3 FM Radio Maria, the voice of truth. Our heritage comes your way next week, Thursday, with Stella Francis. Thank you.